Okay, so today Mac OS X Lion 10.7 was released, and this is basically an update on the last method, which I showed to install Mac OS X Lion into a virtual machine using VMware. And the last method used a bootable VMDK file, and basically this is using an ISO. And you can see here that I've converted the Mac installation file to an ISO. I will possibly provide a download link to this ISO in the description. However, you should be able to convert your own using the DMG to ISO tutorial on my channel. And you'll also need the Mac OS X Lion VMware files, which has been updated for this build. So this is the retail build of Lion, which came out today. And it's only available via the Mac App Store. However, using a couple of tricks, I've managed to get it into a DMG and then to an ISO. So there you go. So first things first is you want to download the files from the description and just extract it by double clicking. And you can see then you end up with the Lion VMware files folder. And you want to go into that. And then you want to go into the VMware Unlocker. And you can see there's a different folder for each different VMware. And if you open up the README text, you get instructions for each different version of VMware, so VMware Workstation, VMware Player, VMware Linux, and VMware Fusion, and each one tells you how to do whatever it is that you need to do. And basically, because I'm on Windows, I'm just going to show you the Windows version. So you can see here VMware Workstation for Windows, so I'm just going to open a command window in there and type in windows.bat and hit enter. And my VMware has already done this, so this isn't actually critical for me to do, but I'm just doing it to show you. And you can see right there that it basically closes VMware Workstation, opens up a few different VMware files, changes them a bit, and then there you go. That's VMware unlocked, and you can now run Mac on it. And that's without having any boot up ISOs or anything like that. So once that's done, close that, and then go back to the other folder with the Mac OS X Lion. So there's a folder there called Mac OS X Lion. Just double click that, and you want to open up the VMX file. And an important thing to mention is that even if you've run the VMware Unlock, you can't create a Lion virtual machine without using these files here as a startup point, because it doesn't configure itself properly, whereas these have been specially configured for Lion. So that's just something to mention. So you will need these files. And there you go. So VMware should open up. Let me just pop it there. And what you want to do now is go to Edit Virtual Machine Settings. And if you go to CD/DVD, you can see Use Image File. So just tick that and browse. And then it should put you in the folder where your Mac OS X Lion is. And just go find the Lion ISO that you're using, so in this case 10.7, and just double click it there. I'm not going to customize the machine just because it's pointless, because I'm not going to use this machine, but you have all the basic customization stuff, so memory, hard disk space, etc, etc. One thing, if you're going to want a bigger hard drive than 40 gigabytes, you need to do it now before you install, so expand that using utilities and expand it to whatever you want before you actually install Lion, otherwise you won't be able to do it. So once you're there, just press OK, and then press power on. And you'll get this little message and just press I copied it, because obviously it has been copied if you downloaded it. Right, so now VMware is booting up, and you can see that it's a different screen to normal. That's because it's recognized the Mac host, not the Mac host, the Mac guest, sorry. And you'll see that it boots into the DMG, not DMG, the image file. And we'll just give it a minute. So obviously, this is by no means a brilliant installation. It's not on Windows, it's not on your machine natively or anything, it's in a virtual machine. So then maybe those of you who have issues with speed, etc. Unfortunately, there's nothing you can do about that really. There's a couple of tips and tricks, but it depends on what hardware you're using. So if you have any problems with this video, by the way, you should let me know and I'll get back to you. However, people with AMD processors, you will have problems. It's that simple. There's no kernel in this. and this is basically for Intel users. However, AMD users can have a go at it because it will work on some, but not all machines. So, right, and now you can see we're in the Lion installer. And what you want to do is actually go to disk utility first and press continue. So it'll get your virtual disk information. And you can see here, obviously, you can see your base system for your installer, and you can see the virtual disk. So the virtual disk has already actually been formatted. You don't actually have to do that, you just have to check that it is being formatted. But I'm just going to format it again just to make sure. So Macintosh HD, and just press erase. So obviously that's why you have to expand the hard drive before you actually do anything, because if you installed your Lion to that hard drive before you changed it, you'd then have part of it in the virtual format table and half of it in GUID partition table, and therefore there'll be clashes and you'll have to reformat the disk, which would wipe your Lion image. So that's why there's issues there, so just be aware of that. And once it's formatted, you just want to close and then go to reinstall Mac OS X. And even though it says reinstall, you can actually just use it to install and just press continue. And there you go, Mac OS X Lion. And it's, oh, right, okay, sorry, that's one thing I forgot to mention. Close down your virtual machine if you get to that point. Before you boot up, you need to allocate 2 gigabytes of RAM to your machine. Don't worry about that, because what I'm going to do is change the VMware files to actually have that as default, so don't worry about that. And then just power on the machine. So yeah, apologies for that, but I hadn't realized that I hadn't changed it on this. So by default, you'll have 2 gigabytes of RAM allocated to the virtual machine. But after the installation, so as soon as Lion has actually been installed, you can change that to whatever you want. It's just the installation that requires 2 gigabytes. So again, apologies for that, but I'll just change that in the files, so you don't have to look at it or mess about with it or anything. However, obviously, the more RAM you use, the laggier your Windows PC will actually be, so you might want to knock it down after the installation, but unfortunately it's required for the installation, so. Right, there we go. So reinstall and continue. Right, now you can see Mac OS X Lion set up the installation. Just click continue and then agree to the licensing terms and agree again. And then just tick on the hard drive, which is there obviously, which is the one that I just formatted, and press install. And you'll see that it says downloading additional components, although downloading isn't really the right word because there's no internet involved. And it says your computer will restart automatically, which it will do. And basically it'll just run through the installation of Lion, and then you will actually boot into Lion. It's retail Lion, it's exactly as Lion is. There's nothing changed whatsoever, it's just out of the box Lion. And yeah, so that means there's going to have to be some sort of kernels installed for AMD users, sound card fixes, etc, etc, but you can find those out in your own time. Just look for a text. I don't really want to go through this now, but all you have to do is look for certain files that support your hardware and just install them. It's that simple. If you have any problems though, I suppose you can give me a message, although you won't be at the top of the priority list to get back to. People who can't run the machines will get priority, so unfortunately that's just how it is because I get too much as it is to actually reply to. So, and yeah, there you go, that's Lion installing into VMware. I just thought I'd show this because Apple are actually going to start selling USB drives with Lion on it that are bootable for $70 or something, which is just ridiculous, seeing as you can actually just download the system for $29 and then extract DMG. So unfortunately that's Apple for you, but there it is. Lion in VMware, final build, whatever. Obviously, as there's been no Lion updates right now, I can't comment on software updates, so I can't comment on if you go to 10.7.1, for example, I can't comment on that. I don't know if that's going to work. So if that comes out, stay clear of it. However, when it does come out, I will pretty much just drop a little notification on the video to tell you if it is safe. But until you've read that it is safe to do, don't do it, otherwise it will screw your virtual machine up. Although I do imagine it will be perfectly fine, so go for it if you want, but just be aware that there is risk involved in that. And yeah, that's all there is to say. I can't think of anything I've left out. As usual, download links will be in the description. As I said, I'm not sure about providing the link to the ISO because that does kind of breach copyright. Well, it does breach copyright even though it's not an Apple file, it's just an ISO. But yeah, we'll see. So until next time, subscribe, like this video. My next video is going to be the snow leopard machine, and it will be fully fixed, finally. Pleased to say that. So anyone who's been waiting for that, you'll be able to see that. So just like this video, comment any problems, inbox me if necessary. There's contact information for me in the readme text in the VMware unlocker if you need me at all, so Twitter, email, it's all there. And I'll get back to you as soon as possible, so subscribe, and thank you for watching my video. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.